After my last couple of epic repair fails, no one in their right mind would ask me to look at their trains. And yet, here we are. Hello YouTubes. So, kid from the local Model Railroad Club in Dundas. He's got an old steam locomotive, I'll show you in a minute. It's got some running issues. He asked the club members to have a look at it. They did their best. They couldn't get it working right. So I guess I'm the last resort. Let's have a look in the box and I'll go through the symptoms and we'll throw it in the track as well before we get started. On the operating table today we have, ooh, isn't that nice? Big steam loco. What's that? A 210-2, number 5812, with its little friend. Canadian Pacific. So that obviously goes on there. However, I don't think there's any problem with the tender itself. They look fairly well bodged together. Whatever, as long as that works, I'm not touching that. So Nicholas says that one of these wheels keeps falling off. Now I don't know if he means the rim from the wheel or the wheel itself. If it's just the rim, I might be able to glue it back on. But if it's one of these connecting screws, then I'm not sure how much I can do. Wow, they are all joined together with 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. That's a lot of indiscrepancies. If you look at how much that turns before it even puts pressure on the front one. I mean, it'll look great when it's going round the track, if it goes round the track. Talking of which, let's throw it in the track and see if we can figure out which one of these is the problem, shall we? Okay then, let us see which of these many wheels is falling off. If I can get them on the track in the first place. And this one, I believe, does have the tender pickup, so it's going to require the tender also. I think we're all on. Let's give it some power. Pay attention to presumably one of these or one of the ones at the other side. Well, I've given it power and nothing's happening. Oh, here we go. I hear a motor. No wheels are turning. This looks like more than just a wheel falling off. Okay, back to the bench. You didn't think it was going to be easy, did you? Okay, let's have a bit of an examination before I start, because I don't want to take responsibility for stuff that's already broken. So there is damage up there. You can see that crack there. I'm going to be super critical this time. These handrails are bent. Wasn't me. I mean, I'm not getting paid for this or anything, but I do want people to know that hopefully I'm not making it worse. Let's have a look. I like the wee driver. Hello. Actually, he's not the driver, is he? He's the conductor. Underside. Well, that's a big long bar for the, what's that, the pilot wheel. We have the usual fluff and hair. Actually, that looked more like glue. There's a little spring there. There should be a spring at the back as well. On that, I can see the spring actually, it's broken. And if you look down there, the rest of the spring is down there. So that should be sprung, otherwise that's just going to flop about. Those wheels are a wee bit dirty, but that shouldn't really affect the running of it, as long as it gets pick up. Any more damage to point out? Bit of separation there. As you can tell, I'm a wee bit concerned about this one. But I'm not going to give up. So we need to remove the body from the base. I think we do that with that screw there. I had a quick look in the chimney. I don't see a screw down there, so I think probably that screw there. I do see a bar or a cylinder going down the middle. I thought that might be the drive, because I don't see where else it's getting the drive from. The motor's obviously way up here. Okay, be brave, be brave. Let's take some stuff apart. See if we can make it better, not worse. Gonna need my big parts dooket for this one. Just noticed there, it's a Rivarossi, it's not an Athearn, just in case you were about to give me advice. Oh well, let's see. See, I mean, if I remove this, then the spring's still going to be attached. Actually, it's not going to be attached because it's broken, so that's fine. We can remove this one. Okay, I'll keep that together. Big screw there. Looks like it's holding something important on, although it's loose, just so you know. That screw there is a bit loose. And not tight at all. Okay. And I think this one at the front is possibly holding on the body as well. Oh yeah, probably because it is quite long. Let's see, are we getting separation? Not yet. Although for all I know it's been glued together. Okay, the front is trying to come apart. The middle one's coming apart. Still something holding it onto the back. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, look, it comes off and away from that. I thought that was going to come with it. Okay, we can put this to the side for now. I think I know why it wasn't running. Pretty sure there's supposed to be a drive shaft going from there to there. What on earth? Am I being punked? Where's the cameras? Well, apart from that camera. Someone has either been lying to Nicholas and stolen parts from his loco, or he's given me the wrong loco. Because that's a fairly obvious symptom, a missing drive shaft. Oh, I've spotted other stuff. And there I was, paranoid that I might make it worse. But it looks like someone's beat me to it. Someone has wrecked this thing. I noticed the back here. We have a very badly wired connection. It looks like it's even burned. So it's been shorting out. What is going on there? So we've got one wire coming from, let's see, this pickup. That black wire goes from this pickup, which is coming from the rear. Goes up here. It randomly bounces against the motor. Again, bounces against the motor, which is what's going to be shorting it out. Goes on one side of this tiny little motor. And then the other wire, which is also a wee bit frayed, comes from a very poorly soldered on wire to the chassis, picking up power from the other side of the track. All in all, an absolute disaster. And what is going on with all this glue? I mean, I like glue, but what? Oh, why? Why is that glue even there, unless the screws were broken? Okay, here's a question. Do I just put it all together again, hand it back? Not tonight, Josephine. Or do I continue and see if I can get this thing running? You know what? I'm going to send him a quick message, see if he wants me to continue. That's the sensible thing to do, right? Back in a sec. Well, it's been 5 minutes and I've had no response. It's almost like people have got lives outside of the train world. It's weird. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to MacGyver the essence out of this, hopefully. Now, the main problem, obviously, is the missing drive shaft. On this side of the shaft, it's a round shaft with a flattened end. So, no idea what's supposed to go in there. Motor side is just a regular stumpy little shaft coming out of the motor. So obviously I don't have parts for this. So I kind of found some stuff in my box of bits, and I think I might be able to make this work. I have got these, which are fairly common universal joint things. These go onto one side of the shaft, and then the drive shaft goes in the middle. It might not be long enough, but you know what, let's give it a shot. So first one, hopefully it's the same diameter of shaft. Push that on there. Okay, that's a nice tight fit. So far so good. And then obviously this shaft has to go in here, and this little universal joint goes on that side. And I think that might work. Obviously this has to get pushed on at least 3 or 4 mil, which might make this shaft a bit folly outy, but I've got a solution for that. As you can see, there's a lot of wiggle room there. So what I think I'll do is get very technical and roll up a little bit of blue tack, plonk it down there, which will force this drive shaft to sit out about there. I could do that on both sides. Oh, let's give it a shot, eh? Let's start with, I don't really want to be taking this on and off. I'm going to lose the grip, but I'm going to put a ball, not that size. It's still too big. Bear with me. And the good thing is, because I'm using blue tack, this is completely reversible. How much do I need? Yeah, that might work. Right, make this into a nice spherical shape. Still too big. Okay, you can plonk that. No, it's still too big. Make it cylindrical first, then we can squidge it down. Okay, you see where I'm going with this, I hope. Let's poke that down. And that will give us only half the amount of wiggle room, which is fine. Okay, stick that on this shaft there. Now, the good thing is this, well, it's good and bad. This doesn't move, this doesn't move. It should really be straight. So the problem could be that how am I going to get this on with the shaft? Well, the good thing is, if this fits, which it does, I can slide this all the way down, put the shaft in, slide it back up, but I do need to put a little bit of blue tack in there as well. You can tell I'm excited by this. I think it might work. Plonk him down there. Ram him down there. Might have gone a wee bit too generous with the blue tack here. Okay. Now we can stick this in here. Ram it down a bit further. Quite far. Stick our drive shaft in. And then we can bring this shaft back up. Oh, it's tight, but that's okay. I want it tight. Oh, I went too far. Right, so we still get a little bit of wiggle room there. I'm going to bring it up a wee bit more, yeah, to there. As long as that's tight enough on that shaft, we should be good. Let's hook up some power and see if it's going to turn the motors, I mean the wheels, you know, the round things. We'll give it a shot. Hold on a second. There, you should be able to see it there. Okay, let's try some power. So we are going to touch one side to this dodgy wire. Don't worry, if this works, I'll replace this wire. So one side will go to there, one side will go to the chassis. 50% power. Chassis wire. Let's try it there so you can see it all working. Quite a noisy motor, but I think it was always like that, to be honest. More power. Fly it apart. Well, I think that's going to work. Next step then, let's get rid of this nasty bit of wire, shall we? Shouldn't take a minute. Let's snip this nasty burnt bit off. I don't know why it's quite so long. There's obviously something I'm missing here, but if we can get it working like this, I'll be happy. Okay, we need to join that to that. Strip that back a wee bit. Let's get that tinned up. Right, splodge of flux there. Let's get a wee bit of solder on that wire. Oh, this wire has been burned, which is understandable if it's just been flopping about hitting the body there. Let's get a little bit of heat shrink tubing, make sure it's the right size to go over there. It is. Snip that down. Put you over there. Let's get this bit soldered onto there. Oh, needs a bit more solder. Nice little join. Slide our heat shrink over. Shrink you down. Okay, good stuff. So now we should be able to test it again. I don't think this works without the tender on, so we need to hook up power to there and one side of the wheels. Let's see which way around it goes. Is it this side? Nope, it must be this side. There we go, it is this side. Okay, we are good. Wiring's done. Drive shaft connected, but we still don't know if it's going to have a falling off wheel. I'm really not seeing anything that wants to fall off. Oh, it's missing traction tyres. That's not going to help, is it? It should have traction tyre there and there. I've only got, you know, brightly coloured traction tyres at the moment. Okay, let me dig out a traction tyre, but that means I'm going to have to remove this bar here in order to get the access to the wheel. Which kind of sucks, but there's no way around it. Okay, let me dig out a traction tyre or two. Actually, on closer inspection, it does actually have traction tyres in there. You see the brass coloured ones? But they're clear, which is why I didn't notice them. I just thought there was a bit of a lip there. But you know what, let's get the shell back on and see if it makes it round the track. I think it is. I think it's going to make it round the track. Because I'm really not seeing any wheels falling off there. I wonder if he meant the wheels were falling off the track, as in it was derailing, rather than the wheels actually physically falling off the loco. Okay, I didn't take too much off there, did I? I've got, what, 2 screws with the shell. Obviously, we need to try and figure out something for the spring, for the rear bogie thing. But that's not crucial at the moment, unless that is in fact what the problem was. There should be a little spring going from there down to there somewhere. I certainly don't have the spares for that at the moment. That must connect to the shell, because it's not connecting to anything at the moment. Okay, let's try and get the shell back on. So I've got that with the screw, and I've got those two. I know that big screw goes in there. What do you connect to? Yeah, pretty sure that connects to the body somehow. And I just pulled that wire off with a crappy weld, the solder. Oh, heat up the soldering iron, back in a sec. Well, as you may have predicted, it's near impossible to solder on to cast steel, which is why it fell off. It didn't break off. So what I think I'll try and do is drill a hole through the chassis, and I have one of these little tabs from one of the Ringfield motors with a hole in it, and a little screw. If I can drill a hole in the chassis, screw this on, and maybe shorten this down, because I can certainly solder to that little tab. Okay, this is getting way more involved than I was expecting. Cover your ears. Hopefully that's deep enough. I'm going to have to do a bit of cleanup work there. Maybe use a magnet or something fancy to grab all the shavings. Anyway, there's my little hole there. Let's see. The screw might be a little bit on the chubby, not the chubby, a bit on the skinny side. And I'm probably going to need one with a bit more of a bite on the thread. Let's see what I can find. I'll try this one first. Microsurgery. So I'm going to be cutting its own little thread. So half a turn in, quarter turn back. Yeah, I think that'll work. It's going to need a bit of persuasion, but I think I would rather have a flathead. I'm going to end up rounding that. So anyway, that's what it looks like at the moment. I'll bring you back when I've got that threaded and I've got my little plate screwed down. This little doodah here, and then we can continue. Right, got my little tab screwed on, so a blob of solder on there. We can attach that wire, and then it also means that this is now removable if we have to take the motor out, which hopefully I will never need to do, but at least the next person to get into this should have more success. Right, let's get some solder on that tab. What has happened to that? My goodness. Filthy, filthy. Got to keep your tips clean. I said tips. Ooh, that's nice. Right. It's troublesome wire. Nice blob of solder there. Make sure we've got a little bit of flux on that. and get you on to your final resting place. Good, secure, safe, drive shaft still intact. Finally get this shell back on. Tidy up the workspace a bit. Alright, it's been so long I've forgotten how this goes together. In fact, I've lost the shell. Well, obviously it's not under there. Oh, here it is. Okay, tuck these wires around. This has got a groove there, which has to go in there. Okay, tuck you in there. Make sure my wires aren't getting hung up on anything. Looks like this has to go over there. Oh, there, see? Troublemakers. Lovely. Wee railing popping out there. Stick you back in. Okay, screws. Big one here was in there. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. This one here was in there. Let's see if it's got somewhere to connect to. Bear in mind, this one was kind of wobbling about anyway. So I might be careful not to over tighten that one. That's tight enough. And then we have, this one was on the rear. I keep calling that a bogie, but I think it's a pilot. You tell me. Oh, that wheel's just annoyingly dirty. Give me a second, let me clean that. Okay, that looks a bit better. Really wish I had a wee spring for this to complete the job. But I don't. Am I upside down? Nope, there we go. And finally, this one at the front. This long one with the sort of shoulder at the top. In there. And now, at the very least, we're back to our starting point to check to see if a wheel's falling off. I really hope it just runs perfectly now, but yeah, the way things have been going recently. Right, trackside. Now, even if this does run, I've never run a Loco with this many wheels. What did I say? This was a 210-2. It's quite a lot of wheels for my wonky track, but we shall give it a go. See how far it makes it, if it even runs. Let's find out. Applying power now. Oh, and off it goes. Oh, a wee bit jerky. I have no idea when this train ran last. I do have a derailment at the front. Hold on a second. That was possibly my fault, or also possibly that it doesn't like 18-inch curves, which I will be rectifying soon. Oh, but you can see how much that one's trying to leave the track. Oh, and that one's off. Come on, just one lap. That's all I need to prove my brilliance, or at least lack of incompetence. That would be a start, right? Right, let's try again. Oh, come on. Oh, it just keeps jumping off at the front. That's frustrating. Go. Well, I think we now know the limitations of an 18-inch radius curves. This 482 with all those wheels can get round my 18-inch no problem at all, but 5 axles, not a chance. As you can see, it's running forward and back in my tiny little straight, no problem at all. So I'm actually starting to wonder if the initial problem with it falling off, whatever was falling off, was possibly just that the owner was trying to run it round an 18-inch radius curve like this, and there's no way it's going to get round. And then he's given it to someone to try and fix, and they've mislaid some parts and doesn't run at all. However, it's running now, up and down my little straight, so I know it runs. I would love to run it round and round the track and make sure everything's nice and smooth, but obviously I can't do that until I change my layout, which I'll be doing soon. If you've been paying attention, I will be making wider curves for bigger trains, because I would like steam trains like this with the multiple axles, but as you've seen, it doesn't work. So, not to worry, we've MacGyvered the heck out of this. It's running again. It's the best I can do for now. Thank you to all my lovely YouTube members, Patreon members, gift givers, and yourself, the Commoner Garden subscriber. Take care. I'll be working my own stuff tomorrow. Bye for now.